Camera's been freezing. Hi, travelers. This is, I don't even have a name for it. So I think from this point forward, I will be calling these the Something Is Not Right videos. Okay. The last time I had this, it was January 6th. Um, Today's the 4th. So on the 2nd, early morning of the 2nd, I believe, um, I had this I was asleep and I had this. I can't say it was a dream, it was a vision. I don't know, but it's something that I've never had before. Usually, when I know there's a disturbance in the collective, I will have a dream, but it's a dream that's like a metaphor for something else, and I have to try to decipher what those things are. Honestly, where's my little book? I had a dream right before Russia invaded. Where's my little book? Right before Russia invaded the Ukraine. And in that dream, it was Mongol hordes on horseback riding across open plains, right? And the fact that it was Mongol hordes gave me that particular area. I wrote it down in my little purple book, which I can't put my hand on right now, but and I didn't come and do a video about it because I didn't really know what it meant. But then a few days later, when I heard that he'd invaded, I knew then that that's what it meant. So I feel that it is important for me to be cautious and to be careful when things like this happen to me. When I get these, I don't know, premonitions, I get these, things. Same thing happened but I missed it, and so that's why I say I have to be careful. I had another dream of soldiers, and I was down in a trench, and people were saying they're coming, and I thought it had to do with a second run from January 6th, and then it turned out to be the coup over in Malaysia. So that's why I say I have to be careful. I think any person who does this kind of work who tells you that they are 100% accurate all the time is not being honest. Sometimes I get things wrong, and I'll be the first to admit that. But let me get to the point of why I'm making this video. So early morning, November 2nd, I'm asleep. Now, normally when these messages come to me, it's usually 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. But as you guys know, I've had several MRIs over the past few weeks, and that has really messed up my own auric field, my own magnetic field. And so I've been really worried that I wouldn't be able to do this work anymore. I'm just, particularly with what's going on neurologically. But this, in a sense, has given me hope. So instead of waking up at 3, it was 6 a.m. I was off 3 hours. But what it was it was like a movie, and it was an explosion at the DNC. And I could see the people. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the DNC's, when they have the big presidential things on TV, Republican Party, the RNC, and everybody's out there with their signs, and they've got them all sectioned off by the little states. So those are the delegates, right? And they're all there cheerleading and whatever, and announcing who they're going to support to run for the president. So it was that scene. I could see the people inside the building with their signs. Everyone's chanting, and then there was this huge explosion, and then I heard people screaming and crying and running. And so I think what was different about this was that it was that pinpoint precise. It wasn't something that I had to metaphorically try to figure out, right? It wasn't an image that I had to figure out later on what it meant. It was very, very precise. And it was so strong. I remember sitting up in my bed and just went, oh my God, I just saw a whole bunch of people get probably killed or injured. And so that is for 2024. And I just heard on TV that Trump's supposed to be announcing near the end, whatever, that he's going to jump in and run again. Don't worry about that guy. I don't think he's going to be coming back. But the reason I'm making this video is I woke up this morning and there's a whole big kerfuffle about, Elon, Twitter firing all of these people. And it's just a strange timing of what he's doing. Content moderators, he's firing a whole bunch of people 4 days before an election. And misinformation. We already know that the minute that he purchased it, he's opened it up. So there's way more ads than there were before, but there's also a lot of vitriol now coming through because people, there's no one to moderate it. But also, I read an article. I don't know where my phone is. Let me go get it. I read a couple of articles. I saved the screenshot so that I could just. Okay, Elon Musk has just bought Twitter. Okay, big deal. We already know that leading up to the 2016 election, the role that Facebook played in misinformation around the elections, right? So now Twitter is going to be the same space, somewhat. But also, Elon Musk has Starlink. These are those satellites that he can, those link up systems where he can give people the technology so that they can communicate. He's been giving the Starlink satellite communication systems to the Ukrainians so that they can maintain their communications on the battlefield. And that is very, very important in a war. Usually in a war, the tactics of war is first either misinformation or you knock out the communications. That's the first thing. If the troops can't communicate with each other, they can't be cohesive, right? You can't formulate a cohesive plan. So, and remember he was saying he couldn't afford to pay for it anymore, and he wanted the Pentagon to pay him, and he was, blah, 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 blah. And then he kind of reversed and changed his mind. But then I was reading this article the other day. Let me find these. And I ran across this article on something called USSF. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. He just did a launch. Let me see if I can find it here. It was like a secret deal. Nobody's been talking about it. He did a rocket launch called Falcon Heavy. Here it is. And it's a mission called USSF 44. Okay. And basically what it was is he got the contract, SpaceX did, with the Pentagon to use his Falcon Heavy rocket to send up satellites, the first satellites built for national security. Now, what people are probably going to tell you if you're reading about it is that that's the Space Force, it's going to help us shoot down incoming rockets. Don't buy that crap. And there's also some small satellite things built by Boeing that are also being launched out. Now, it is a communication satellite. I don't care what anybody tells you. I don't care what the government's saying. I don't care what Pentagon is saying. I don't care what Elon Musk is saying, okay, or anybody else. It has to do with communications. And I am very, very worried. One man should not be allowed to control portions of the internet or have the ability to give communications or cut off communications to people. We have seen this happening in Saudi Arabia, in Iran, in China, where there is a communications blackout. They shut off the internet and basically they send out satellites to jam the signals, or, okay, it's EMP, electronic magnetic pulse. It's the same thing as when we have sunspot activity. Sometimes your communications don't work well, okay, and can disrupt communications. No one person should have that kind of power. And I am here to tell you something is not right with Elon Musk. Now, because he's a billionaire, people want to call him mercurial. Okay, that is a code word for people who have mood or personality disorders like bipolar disorder. What that means is he's capricious. He can change his mind on a whim, like the Twitter deal. First he was going to buy it, then he wanted to renege. Now he's purchased it, now he's doing whatever he's doing. One person should not have that kind of power. And I'm here to tell you that something is coming. And Elon Musk is going to play a very important role in whether or not he's going to allow it to be known to the world or not. Can you imagine if there is another armed revolution or insurrection or whatever, or something really, really horrible, and they don't want the world to know about it? America doesn't want the world to know about it. They shut off the internet. We can't communicate. Who really owns Google? Google owns YouTube. Who really owns those companies? And so we are really in a time where, look, people say that money is power. And in a way it is, because you can buy your way into things. But money comes and goes. Information is power. All right? Once you know something, you can never unknow it. You know what I mean? Information is powerful. When you are informed, you can make informed decisions for yourself. And so we are now in a space where everything from what we're watching on TV to what we're reading on the internet to what we're consuming on our phones to perhaps what we're hearing on the radio is being manipulated. And I don't scare easily, but something is not right. And this whole thing with him buying Twitter, and then him with the Starlink, and then with the USS F-44, that secret deal that they did, and I think that's why he decided to keep the communications for Starlink for Ukraine, because he says, okay, well, you guys don't want to pay me to keep this on, then this is what you're going to have to do. You're either going to have to give me the contract, or you're going to allow me to put something else on my satellite or something on your satellite, or allow my, whatever. And so we have to stop according and affording worship-like, God-like tendencies on people who are rich, who are billionaires. People want to say, well, he must be smart. He's a billionaire. No, it could be karma. It could be his planetary placements, okay? But just because a person is a billionaire doesn't mean that they're smart, intelligent, or that they have humanity's best interest at heart. That's how we got Donald Trump. Well, he's a smart businessman, so we should let him run the country. Well, you see where we are now, right? And so something is coming. I don't know what that is. And I'm very, very worried about it. And I'm having real difficulty going into my meditation trances to kind of get clear. I'm having difficulty with that at the moment. And so I'm going to, I went to the Nostradamus cards to ask him about something, and it just didn't make any sense, and I couldn't figure it out, and it didn't answer my question, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Not the one about the sepulcher found. There was another spread that I did, because I feel that there's a disturbance in the collective, and that is how my messages come through. And I can't explain it to people. I can't tell you what happens. I just know it. I have no rational reason. I can't give you a logical reason why I know it. I just know it. And so I want you guys to don't even worry about this election, because this shit is a hot mess. It's going to be chaos. And everybody's like, oh, well, we'll know on the 9th. No, you won't know on the 9th in some instances. It's going to drag all the way out into January. Okay? So just be prepared. I've completely stopped watching the political news, because it's all a bunch of misinformation. All of it, from both sides. It's just a bunch of misinformation. And so I did my part. I went out and voted my conscience. And we'll just have to see. I still stand by the idea that we will be living under authoritarian rule for a number of years. I'm going to say 2 to 4 years. Okay? I still stand by that. And if that is the case, we know that Elon Musk has been buddy-buddy with Trump. We know that he's buddy-buddy with Putin. He's got his fingers. He's in places that one civilian should not be. But he's there because he's a billionaire and he's got the technology. That's the thing. And so I'm still waiting to hear from Julian Assange. I ain't heard from him yet. Don't know what's going on with that. There was a plot afoot. And I just want you guys to think about what is actually happening. Think about it. Trust what your eyes are showing you. Okay? We can't believe what we're hearing anymore, but trust what your eyes are showing you. And I would dare say that since they're already banning books in some places, the internet content is going to start to be moderated to where we won't be getting perhaps information that we need. So I'm going to have to rethink my relationship in terms of how I'm going to be able to bring card readings to you guys. And so I'm going to tell you this now. If there comes a point where voices are beginning to be silenced or content is really being suppressed, remember that the court cards in the tarot can represent heads of state. I want you guys to remember that. Okay? That was how they were used in antiquity when people were dissatisfied with kings and their leaders, and the secret societies would discuss it using the tarot cards. It was typically the court cards to represent those people. Okay? So mark that, keep that in mind, because it may have to be that way. I may have to deliver messages in a coded way to you in such a manner that, I'm not taken offline, or maybe someday somebody shows up at my door. Who knows? And that is seriously the feeling that I'm getting. It is a very, very, I don't scare easily. I don't scare easily. And I am frightened. I am very frightened for what's to come over the next 4 years. Now, those of you who have been with me for a while know that I don't ever try to give you information to scare you. That's not what I'm in this for. But I have to, it's my responsibility to tell you what I feel you should be aware of. Now, you can take this or you can leave it. It's up to you. Okay? I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not telling you what to believe. That is strictly up to you. We all make our own choices about those things. But I would be remiss in my duty as a card reader and a psychic to not say to you, something is not right. And hopefully I'm going to be able to get with Nostradamus, and he can give us some kind of indication as to what this may be, and perhaps a timing. But that dream of the DNC, we know that's coming up whenever the presidential election in 2023. They're going to be starting that in, pretty soon, making the nominations. It may even be next year for. Oh, that's 2023. Yeah. Well, yeah. There you have it. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I'm way behind in my astrology homework, so I've got to get some of that stuff done today. And I will be talking to you guys again later. Be well, be smart, and this is really going to be a time where, we all have intuition. Some of us, it's stronger than others, okay? But we all have it. And now is a time for you to tap into it. Do you get messages in your belly? Do you hear things? Does your skin crawl or your hair stand up on the back of your neck? Our body has a way of letting us know when something is not right. And now is going to be a time where it's really important for you to learn that. What is that signal for you, so that you can know when you're seeing something or even hearing something that just doesn't sit right with you, okay? And that's going to be very, very important over the next, I'm going to say 4 years. So until then, be well, stay safe. I go for my EEG on the 10th. Hopefully by then, somebody's going to have a real answer for me. I was in the yard, I've been doing yard work for the past couple of days. Fell down out there twice. Had a tremor, fell down. Apple Watch didn't detect it. It says it doesn't detect all falls. So I'm like, what the hell? So, and Luke was out there with me, and he must have thought I was playing, because he was running circles around me, barking, and he was playing. He wasn't like, oh my God, you fell. He didn't come over to see if anything was, because he just like that. I still love him anyway, though. And so, because people are like, oh, you could train your dog. No, not him. I can't do it. He's not the brightest light bulb of a dog I've ever had, but he sure is the loveliest. So that's that. I will speak to you guys later. And until then, be good to yourselves. Bye.